Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Eric Greid. It is 8 a.m., and we gather here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. to get our mindset right, to begin to get this thinking going in the right direction, to start to build our life of success. And so that's why we gather, and I appreciate you jumping in and joining. And as always, whenever I'm in the studio, so to speak, make sure I show these off. Why? Because I want to make sure you guys aren't doing this thing called like live and drive. Oh, come on. We're better than that. We're smarter than that. We're bigger than that. We don't distracting drive. So again, clearly parked, clearly safe, but in the studio for the day because we are heading down out of the mountains this morning. Yes, I love it here, but man, I am a creature of routine. I am a creature of my place. I love my office. I love my space. I love just having my thing. And when we get here to the little house, as we call it in the mountains, it gets a little crowded and a little chaotic, and I need to break out from it now and then. So heading down today. So appreciate everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday week. I know many friends have reached out and said, I'm not really doing anything. I'm not really growing anything. I'm kind of in limbo mode. Totally okay. That's what living a life of success is about. Being able to pull off to the side of the road, take a break, take a breathe, invest in our family as much as we invest in our business. Remember, we're building a whole life, not just a little corner of a little piece of a little life. No, we're investing into our health, into our fitness, into our family, into our finances, as well as into our families. And so make sure that you're investing fully into it. Often when I get here at the little house, as we call it, or in the mountains, it's very hard for me to disconnect, to disengage, to unhook. That I'm always trying to figure out, like when you see me leave the house, I have an entire suitcase full of work. Like I bring books and notes and writings, and like I bring an entire office with me. And I've had to learn over time that it's okay to bring it, but I don't need to do it all and invest in it all at the same level as when I'm in the office, because this is time for my family. And so my son and I went for our mountain walk, and that was just a humor. The child wrote an entire story during the 3.5-mile walk with Iceman and Rockman and Diamond Man and but anyhow, those things don't happen unless you make them happen. And I'm glad I was able to make them happen. And that's part of Success Life. So I want to talk about this morning's lessons. But before we do, take a moment, say hello, say good morning to each other. I see so many people jumping in. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tamra. How are you? I think I saw a couple other people jump in. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I've lost my little icons over here in the corner. Good morning, Miss Gail. So you guys got to just say good morning, and that way I know you're here. Good morning, Mr. Matthew. I don't know what happened. I had to cut out early of yours. I'll go back and listen later. On the hashtag replay, Gail did hump day. I guess it would be redundant to say hump day Wednesday, wouldn't it? That's for Matthew. He'll understand. Hey, Steph, look. Hey, Matthew, Mom, look. Anyhow, so goals and dreams. So here's the thing I want to talk about. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about it, and a couple people were writing in the comments below and got a couple questions on the side. And so here's what... Goals and dreams. Can we have both? Should we have both? What are we working on? What should we be doing? The whole thing. Yes, you can have a dream. Yes, you can have a goal. Where I focus as a coach, where I focus as somebody who helps you build strategies and build habits and create discipline and create the life that you want, I have to say it's more in the goal space, that dream space, that big space, that as you're driving down the country road and your mind is wandering, that dream thing, that's fabulous. We all need that space. But we can't stay there. It will not manifest. It will not be created into the world unless we have very specific and very targeted goals. And so here's what I see happening with so many people over and over again. They'll create a dream board or a dream book or a vision board, or they'll write this big, huge, big goal that they want, to transform the world one school at a time by, making handmade bricks from the pot holders that I sew or something like that. I don't know. And they have this big, huge dream, and then they get stuck in the what's next. Like, how do I go from here to way out there in super dreamland? How can I stay motivated from this space all the way out into super dreamland? It's like going into Disney World. It's like, which ride do I go on first, and where do I go and see? And when you get all this chaos and confusion and so I often have to bring the dream down. I often have to say, okay, I love your dream. I love your vision. I love your big thinking. But what is the next best step for us to get from here to there? I've had coaching clients who have taken their vision board, taken their dream board, and broke it down into, well, what would it look like if only the next 90 days? Like, if I only could pick one ride to go on, if I only had one thing I could accomplish on all of this. And they create their vision board, dream board, whatever you want to call it, on that 90-day, 45-day cycle, 60-day cycle. And then they begin to envision themselves completing those goals, those dreams, those visions. It's much like building a house. As big as a mansion as I want and as many bedrooms and baths as I need, I've got to lay the first brick. And so often this time of year, we'll start setting these dreams and we'll setting these visions. And, we get around motivational coaches and motivational speakers and they talk, that big, loud, singing choir kind of voice that our lives should be worth. And I totally believe in that. And I live in that. And I experience that. If you look at my journals and my thoughts, I see the big picture. I dream the big picture. But I also understand that for me to begin to move forward, for me to begin to have a life, for me to begin to experience success, I've got to stick to the goals. I've got to stick to a plan. I've got to stick with habit reformation, so to speak. Because I know that as long as I'm on the path, I'll arrive at that place that holds my big dream, that holds my big goal, that holds my big moment. But if I'm so busy looking at the big thing, dreaming of the monument, trying to manifest this huge thing into existence, I'm going to become exhausted. I'm going to become tired. I'm going to become frustrated. I'm going to begin to feel unworthy of it. It's that idea that, well, I dreamed this, or I wanted that, or I tried to create this into my life and it didn't happen. And so therefore I'm not worthy. God doesn't love me. The universe is working against me. People like me never get it to happen. I'm like, you know what? You got to put the turkey in the oven before you can eat the meal. You've got to show up and do the work and change the life and begin to see things differently. As I was reading this week, and I had some habit reformation. Amen, Dr. And I was reading into this idea, and it's so big. I mean, it is so big. I'm still trying to break it down that the ocean and the wave is not separate. And I can apply this in so many places, that the oceans are the expression of the individual, or the wave is the expression of the ocean. And so my challenges are not separate from my life, but an expression of my life. My dreams are not separate from, or my goals are not separate from the ocean, but an expression of the ocean. My love, or God's love, is not separate from the ocean, but the waves are you see? And it was just like, and it keeps twisting and turning. It's like one of those Matrix movies. When I start to understand that the wave is an expression of something bigger. And that if I look at the wave and I understand the wave and I meet the wave where the wave is, but then I dive deep into it, the wave begins to dissipate and disappear. And the challenge that I'm so focused on is really part of a bigger life, or the dream or the goal that I'm focused on is really part of a bigger journey, a bigger dream. And so, and I know it sounds really crazy. Maybe it's the mountain air. You guys all figure it out. When I look at what my goals are part of a bigger dream. And so when I focus on my goals, I'm not taking my eyes off the bigger dream, the bigger vision, the bigger mission. I'm simply looking at the expression of that dream, of that vision, of that purpose in a different way, in a different form. And then, as you know, the wave turns back into the ocean. And so when I start to think about, okay, what is my goal? Okay, how is that goal an expression of the bigger dream, the bigger vision, the bigger mission that I have? Okay, so when I master this goal, when I change this habit, when I finish this whatever it is, it will fall back into the bigger dream. And it will fuel and fund and return to where it came. And all of a sudden I start to see that my goals have to be a reflection of that bigger dream. And so I don't lose sight of the goal. I simply have it expressed in different ways, in different formats, and different things. Just like you and I are each different expressions of this same ocean. So as you begin to plan 2019, as you begin to get into this whole, what should my goals? What about my dreams? I'm supposed to have a big why. Worry less about the big. For me to take on the entire ocean and swim the entire ocean, whew, I know I'm capable of it. I know it's divinely mine to do. It's no big deal. It's like, okay, I got that. But in my humanness, in my limitedness, in my growth, in my journey, right now I can only manage the waves. And as I begin to grow and change and transform, yeah, maybe I'll become some deep sea diver that can go to the depths beyond. But right now I know that my journey is about the expressions of my dream. My journey is about the expressions of my bigger thing, my giant why, my moment of greatness. And so as I plan my 2019, as I plan my first quarter, as I plan my first week, as I plan my first day, I'm asking myself, how can I, with what I know, what I have, what I see, what I understand, express my dream today? All right, got it. Now move into it. And then tomorrow I'll wake up, or the next day, or the next week, or the second quarter, the second half of the year. And I'll say, okay, with what I know now and who I've become, how can I express my bigger dream? Okay, moving into that, stepping into that, going towards that. And over time, I will express it. I will manifest it. I will create it. I will recreate it. I will take it apart and I will rebuild it, and it will look different than it did a year ago. But all of that will begin to happen because I'm simply asking, I'm dipping into that well, so to speak. I'm reaching into the depth of the ocean, and I'll say, give me a handful. Let me look at it. Let me express it. And as I sort of thought about this whole wave thing, it's like I remember my beach in Uruguay, and maybe I'm just homesick for my beach. I don't know. But some days the waves were very calm and very still and very small. And other days the waves were just foaming and they were crashing back at themselves. And there were points where the river and the sea came together and they were almost like battling each other. And I began to think that sometimes that is my life, that sometimes the expression of my bigger dream, my why, my purpose and my passion is those small, calm waves. They're still there. They're still being expressed. And other times it may be that limited thinking, that old self, that river crashing against the new expression. And it can be a violent and tormented time. And it can be very difficult for me to figure out which is which and where I'm going and how should I be expressed. And other times I'm so clearly in tune with what I want to do and how I want to live and what I want to say and where I want to go. And I'm feeling inspired and empowered that I'm making like surfer major big waves that everybody's riding on it and everybody's sharing it. And it's just like whoosh, happening. So don't panic. Don't freak out. Don't start like tearing apart the house looking for the lost car keys, so to speak, because you're worried that you're going to have a dream or a big why or a big vision, or you've got to have this thing happening in your life. Simply slow down. Sorry, I got to put my glasses on it. You're writing up some good stuff, I think. Ways will always be the same, required us to adjust to write it. Oh, thank you. Take a moment and just say, how can I, in this moment, in this time, in this, with what I have, I always do the what I have, what I know, where I'm at. It's kind of like doing the like the safety check. So what I know, what I have, where I'm at, how can I express my bigger dream, my bigger purpose, my mission, my vision, my goals today? And that allows me to work from the place that I'm at, not the place that I need to go. Because in our mind, in our thinking, in our humanness, whenever we try and go way over there, like way over there, we somehow feel like we're lacking something here. Like, I can't do it from here because I'm not big enough, smaller enough, strong. No. And we can't create out of lack. You can't create where there is nothing. But if I say, from what I have and what I know and where I'm at, what can I create next to express my dream? Well, then I'm beginning with something, and I'm magnifying it, multiplying it, and energizing it, and transforming it, and creating from that. And so, yes, you can have dreams. Yes, you can have goals. Yes, you can have both. You can have vision. You can have mission. You can have purpose. You can have passion. You can label it whatever you want. Shoot, why do you think we sell so many books as inspirational coaches, teachers, trainers, whatever? But what you have to have is an awareness of who you are and what you want to manifest, what you want to create, what you want to leave into this world. And then an action plan, an intelligent, logical action plan. You know, it's funny, if you go to biblical teaching, I think God was the first one with the day timer. I just see his day timer, you know, day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. And then he gets to day 7, and it's like, recap and review. You need your day timer. You need your plan. You need your vision. You need your mission written out, that you can wake up each morning and go, okay, how am I going to express the bigger ocean of my dream today? Where am I going to grow? Where am I going to influence? Where am I going to move into? Because when you do that, remember, the wave will fall back into the dream. The wave will move, it may move across I mean, think of the ocean and how far some waves travel to make an impact on the shore. And then sometimes the waves are very short and they make a quick impact. I know, too many wave thinking. Here I'm in the mountain, I'm thinking of waves. I go to the beach, I'll probably think of mountaintops. Who knows? It's Eric, I'm confused. All right, so as you begin to journey forward after this holiday break, you begin to take some time out for yourself. You begin to lean in and begin to reflect. It's okay. You are okay. And when you begin to doubt it, remember, you're just an expression of a bigger ocean. And whatever your divine person is, whether it's God or another faith, or you've created your ocean, your God, in a way that you can understand it, you're an expression of it. And so you have access to the entire ocean. There's so much unexplored, unseen. I mean, they call it the last frontier even to this day. And as you move into 2019, you will begin to manifest from that ocean. You will begin to create from that place. You will begin to transform from that. So have a goal. Don't worry about getting crazy and big vision and big mission and big dream thing. Have a goal for today. Have a goal for this week. Have a goal for first quarter. Have a goal for first month. And then let's back up and revisit it over and over each time. All right? Well, that's what I got. Kazan, small steps to achieve a larger outcome. I love that you have that word, because I love that word too. That small steps. We are so programmed. And I don't know. I feel sorry for us in a way. You know, they say back in the old days, the good old days, I don't think there was so much competition to cover so much distance so quickly. You know, as we're all out traveling around during the holiday, and you see that person speeding down the highway, and I sat down, and because I'm kind of a crazy person when I get stuck in a car, and I'm doing the calculations that, like, if you go 5 miles over the speed limit over a course of 5 hours, then what's that going to transfer to in arrival time? And it was like, almost, when you think of the distance, like 5 hours, you're gaining 5 miles over the speed limit, it comes down to like a 20-minute gain. And it's like, really, people are risking lives and running crazy over 20 minutes of life? But they won't spend 10 minutes in silence with themselves. We are in such a hurry, such a chaotic, such a frantic, such a driven pace to cover so many miles that we're missing the little one steps. And it's in those small details, in those little things that we best connect to self and to divine and to purpose. So breathe in, slow down, take a breath, people. Take a breath. We need it. We need it as individuals. I think we need it more so as a nation. I think our children need it. I have to laugh because I took my son and we went up on a trail walk, and he was just chatterbox creative the whole time. And I was like, dude, and I realized that it was the first time that he was just like he had so much stimulant piled on him with family and TV and holiday and travel and radio and cars, that being out in the silence, he was just finally able to let his creative energy go. And he created this wonderful story, and we had a wonderful 2-hour walk. He needed his place to create from. And I was fortunate enough to give him that space. Make sure you have a place where you can create from, where you're in silence, where you're not trying to work out at the gym and create, where you're not trying to drive and listen to an audiobook and create. Create a space every day in your life where you can just sit in silence and think random, crazy wave ocean thoughts and see where they take you. Because you were born from creation. You need to touch creation each and every day. All right? Well, I wish you all a very merry day. Just in case you tuned in late, not driving and texting, not distracting. I don't even have the car on. That's how committed I am to my safety. My kids are more important than a Facebook Live and trying to drive. Hey, that's a rhyme. So take a good day. Relax, rest, review if you came in late. Hit the hashtag replay. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're doing. We've got a Fun Friend Friday tomorrow. I am so excited. Gonna be back. I've been told to get rid of this. Then I've been told to let it stay. So we'll see. Maybe you'll see half a face. Who knows? We have Fun Friend Friday with Melanie. We're going to talk about parenting with a purpose. This is not just for parenting. It's for educators, grandparents, uncles, aunts, whatever. Where I love the idea is accidental parenting versus parenting with a purpose and a plan. And because of her background in education and special ed and being a stay-at-home mom or homeschooling mom, and just her perspective, I love the way she sees parenting. And every so often I'll have to call her, send her a text, and I'm like, help, what should I do? I love having co-parents in the universe, so to speak, that say, look, I'm not going to we made a rule in my family. We always start with, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if it was my kid, this is what I would do. I love having people around that will help guide me in that, because hey, we're all figuring it out. So join me tomorrow for Fun Friend Friday. It will be a blast. I hear Ed Reed is working on something on the side, so I'll let you know what comes of that later on. And podcast tomorrow as well. And then we've got Author Talk coming up on January 9th. I think that's a Wednesday. Lots of things going on. If you haven't signed up for the Success Life Weekly newsletter, head over to my webpage. There should be a pop-up that asks you to sign up. There's also something I'm sure down in my Facebook feed. If neither of those work for you, feel free to send me a private message. I'll send you the link. We've talked about, so the first 2 issues have gone out for, the 2 weeks ago, it was about reflecting back and a little journal exercise on how to reflect back. And then this Tuesday was a coaching exercise on how to dream forward. Upcoming will be finding your word. If you're not familiar with finding your word, it'll be explained in the lesson. So it's kind of like a coaching lesson as well as an upcoming list. But it's a little exercise on finding your word and what your word is about and things like that. And then we've got some other coaching lessons planned. So I really tried to create the newsletter around the idea of just a little mini coaching lesson thought idea that you could take into action. I do it on Tuesday, so you have the whole week to get the homework done. And that's all it's all about. Not a big sales page, not a big pitch page, not a every other day sign up, do this kind of page. So go over and sign up for it if you'd like. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. I think we'll be out of the studio and back into the office and travel today as well. So I will see you then. Thank you for jumping in and joining me. Go out, dream big, set goals, live your life of success. It is yours. You are worthy of it. Bye-bye, everybody.